This is the Illusion reboot from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Apparently I was just a little too far from the signal in my car and I lost the signal and I was getting into the flow. So we'll start over again. The windstorm, firestorm of Southern California is finally passed. So we live, Rainbow Mountain where we live is way up in the mountains, and we live on a ridge line, and we were getting hammered by the wind. Like, we get hammered by the wind all the time, but this was especially radical hammering. And the first night of the fire, dude, I watched the whole thing going on from my window across the, it's not really a valley, but across the way I could see the other mountain ridge and watch the whole thing burn. It was pretty radical. I gotta say, it's still going on up there. But the winds died down at least, but man, the smoke over there is insane. So wind was pretty heavy, and the hottest is we had the new cat, Bob, like just decided to get acclimatized to the house, and him and Bob are buddies now. The fire bonding, they bonded through the wind experience of being hunkered down in the house together. It was pretty radical, man. Once again, you forget how heavy duty it all can be, except when there's just fires everywhere. Fortunately for us, there weren't any fires at our house. Stoked, because they move so quick. The fires get started, and then it's a firestorm. They can't do anything about those fires, man. It just burns till it runs out of stuff to burn. A lot of people lost their houses up in Ventura. If you go to my Instagram, I don't know, maybe you got to go to my Twitter account. This friend of a friend's house burned down, so there's a GoFundMe set up. But anyway, I don't have long to chit chat. I just wanted to check in because I'm jamming home. But for those of you who were following my last video I posted on Saturday, the gal who went AWOL came back, and we got her under our care. She is doing a lot better, but dude, she came back pretty battered and bruised from her cocaine run. So we got that going on. So it's been super busy the last 5 days, helping this gal out, getting her coordinated, getting her life back in order. So it's some pretty radical stuff. And been sitting up at the home making t-shirts. Art's been selling, so go to my Etsy if you want art or t-shirts. But really what this is all about is I'm off the sugar. I'm off the processed sugar, so my whole frequency's adjusted. And my back's gotten better because sugar's an inflammatory. So I'm feeling a lot better, but about 5-6 days ago, I noticed the shift. And it was all when I made the tie-dye Illusion t-shirts. All of a sudden my creative vibe was back and the energy was going out and it was being returned. So I just really want to hype. Again, it's hard to know, but I can tell something shifted, and I can attribute it to getting off the sugar, because that was the big thing I've done. And even the holograms, you've mellowed out, your mood swings aren't that crazy. So I'm pretty stoked on that vibe about it all. I don't miss the sugar. It took 3 days to get over the concept, and then I'm kind of in the groove. I still have apples and fruit, but I don't have any sort of I wasn't eating processed sugar on a heavy duty level. I was just, the brown rice rolls have cane, sugar in them, and just, it was sneaking in a lot. I was drinking juice. Juice has a lot of sugar that can jam you up pretty heavily. So that's going good, man. And the back's been feeling a lot better, man. Something happened on that, which is super cool. So a lot of positive news. Haven't done any skating yet. I don't really do flour. I don't do bleached white flour. That's not really part of my diet anyhow. If anything, we do brown rice pasta, and I eat the bread I have, if I eat it, is a multi-grain Mike's Killer organic bread, But like as far as like processed white flour, don't really do that too much. You know, things sneak in here and there on that level, but I generally try to stay away from any of that stuff because it's not really the gluten. Hopefully I'm going to be in the Burnside on the spring, dude. I want to do a spring run or like summer run up to the Burnside. Now it's like I'm not quite there yet with my back, you know, but I've like crossed some cool barrier where I'm like, it's definitely a lot better. The surfing's gonna kick in here in a little bit, and then I'm gonna start skating again. And I gotta take it slow, man. I don't want to go backwards. So a lot of cool things have been going on. Life force has definitely been on the upswing. I've been taking this ashwagandha. It's for my adrenal gland, and that's helped out a lot. So I've been taking some adrenal support to like kind of recalibrate myself. And homeschooling's going cool. Like Georgie got killed it on her last month's worth of work. We got our first like report back from the group we send it to, and she slayed it. So that's pretty rad. Everything's going real good, man. I hope you guys are all doing radness out. I take the 5-HTP daily, dude. I take the 5-HTP daily. I take my melatonin. I take the D3K2. That's why I don't get sick. I also take glutamine and lysine, and I have a giant mixture of turmeric with black pepper. I drink like a pint glass with 2 heaping tablespoons of that and some collagen in there. And I get crazy on that. And what else do I take? I take my fish oil and some black seed oil. Take a lot of stuff. That's vitamin C, of course, and I take a probiotic. Flax hemp seed gets in the mix too when I make my smoothies. You know, working on the whole thing of like trying to eat really clean. I would say like I'm a 80%er. Those aren't Agenda 21 fires, dude. That's like, people don't understand like Southern California is like fire prone because it's the ecosystem. Like it's the chaparral, and chaparral burns. It just burns, man. That's what it's supposed to do, because the plants in the chaparral ecosystem secrete an oil that's flammable. So if you're ever in Southern California, you'll notice the fire roads are all on the ridges, because the oil drops down into the canyons and ignites. So once these firestorms get going, man, there's not much they can do except get out of the way and try to save a structure here or there. But like this one up in Ventura burned right down to the ocean. Dude, it was howling wind that night. So I can't really get in on the conspiracy level of that, though we'll probably find out that it was due to some sort of negligence out there, and it wasn't like lightning strike. There was no lightnings. And so, you know, it's that thing. It's like you want to live, you know, people want to live up in these hills. Like my house burned down in 1993 in a big firestorm. The family home burned in 93. It was a pretty heavy duty experience. It burned down all our neighbors and the whole neighborhood. So I know what that's all about. It was actually started, get this, by a wannabe volunteer fireman. Yeah, how's that for crazy, dude? But you know, it's that thing. It's the environment we live in down here is just super susceptible to fire. It's one of those things. So I can't get into the whole thing about it. Like, the firemen are heroes around here. Like people don't understand. Like, the firemen are badass here in Southern California, man. They get in the mix, and love those guys. I got nothing but positive things to say about firemen, man. If you know, like, that's one thing. If Al came up to me and was like, "Dad, I want to be a fireman," I'd be super proud. Like, that's something I could get behind, is my son being a fireman, man. I think those dudes are the best. So, you know, it's been a heavy duty week with that going on, you know, so action packed. But like I said, the wind finally died down. The cats made friends. My back got better. The chick who went AWOL is back under our care, getting some what do you call it? wellness. We're getting her some wellness, man. I'm sitting in front of a corporate coffee establishment using their Wi-Fi, baby, because that's some good stuff, man. Yeah, it's gnarly, man. And then I had a couple calls with a couple high frequency tribe members out there. Had a little trouble with the alcohol, man. They called me for some advice, man. They got their thing going on. I've been getting some texts. That's the thing, man. Like, we're all in this together. We can all help each other out, man. Sometimes it's just talking to one another. Sometimes it's listening to each other. And the game is not over. The game has just begun. So stoked we're here right now, but I'm gonna get going because I gotta go have dinner with the Minigram Owl and the Hologram. The Minigram making dinner tonight. She made some sort of crazy marinated chicken, fully organic, antibiotic free range chicken. Like, we're pretty hip with all that. Like, we're not vegans, dude, because that's too crazy. That is too crazy. But we don't really eat like red meat or anything like that. Turkey and chicken are about it. But you know, we make sure that our birds were at least loved before they gave their life to the old and fighting the spiritual war, baby, or vibrating past it. I think fighting's like a word of a negative word, right? Like, if you think about it, fighting's not what we need to do. We need to vibrate past it. I've been really trying to pay attention to words a lot more and what words are all about. You know, I had someone send me an email. My buddy out there was like, I was making a video and I was talking about my kids, and he's like, kids is like baby goats, and goats are satanic. So I try never to use the word kids anymore in reference to my kids, at least, or anybody's kids, because they're children. You know what I mean? But we get so accustomed to these weird words in our lexicon that we forget that they have meanings, and words are powerful. So if we just use words all willy-nilly, we don't realize that we're evoking certain energy fields with them. So getting back to the fighting the spiritual war, no, it's vibrating through the spiritual, like, enlightenment, maybe. Waging the spiritual journey towards the light. How is that? How about we're doing that, man? So, you know, we're almost there for another bowl cut for sure, dude. Look at that sloppy mop, man. I'm definitely due for that. But I think I might go for a mullet just for fun, like rock a super mullet, dude, on this one. Because I can rock a mullet, dude, for sure, dude. I've done it before. I had the craziest mullet you've ever seen. My hair was longer than this, and I mulleted it. And people were like, oh my God, dude. But you can only have a mullet for a couple days, man. It's just too crazy. People trip out. Like, you want to see people tripping out? Get a mullet.